would be your closing advice, man, for all the people just hearing us and say, this is overwhelming. Where do I start? How do I get, myself enrolled in this? How do I get prepared? How can I understand just the world I live in better? What would be a great advice from you?
Well, it's something that I really deeply care about, which is the truth. Because, it is like what they say in the Matrix. The truth will set you free. And if, what is it that we truly want in this life? Do we want freedom? Do we even know what that means? Well, I would say the best way to start out is always question things. And if you want to know the truth, there are methodologies that have been around for thousands of years, which is the trivium, the science of the trivium and the science of the quadrivium. And, both of those things, methodologies, you can definitely find a lot of information on YouTube or, there's books just called the trivium and quadrivium. And why that's so important is because I believe that it is one of the greatest starting points to finding what really is going on, because you can apply that to everything, and you follow your heart, follow your moral compass. Listen to people who are not doing things like this for money. Listen to people who really do want to create harmony and create less harm in the world. Also, make sure to listen to people deeply that sound crazy, because, they might have a piece of the puzzle that's really important. And, it's one of those things that is very hard, because the ego wants to be right all the time, and the ego wants to be comfortable. And anytime that we get really comfortable in these situations, we become easy to control. And so I think that, putting yourself out there, looking at the most uncomfortable things is definitely what's going to help us come together and realize that we are one, we are connected, and the illusion is caused by fear that we're separate, and that's the killer of humanity, is fear.
Yeah, man, and I think one of the, kind of like adding to what you just said, with knowing the truth, sometimes it's hard, right? Like it's hard to see face to face what is the reality, what is the truth, and I think it demands more responsibility from your part to do something, to act, to maybe go against the current, and people maybe don't want to do that. Maybe, like you said, it's very comfortable to be in a certain position, or just say yes sir to the people who have been always destroying our planet, not helping us. It's just like an example here in Mexico, man. Like, our government has always been corrupt, and we never trusted the government, but now, since we're under a lot of fear, we trust them 100%. We forgot about corruption, we forgot about everything now. So I think it's more comfortable for people just to say, like, okay, let me just chill here in my house, I'm going to stay here until they say so, right? And I think that's a huge problem. People can't handle the truth. It's hard to see the truth because it demands responsibility and action, right?
You just said it, responsibility. No one wants it. They want someone else to be responsible for them and their actions. But the truth is, you are responsible for your body and what your body does. And that is, that's something that, is immutable. It's fixed. It's fixed that way. So, it's really, really important that people recognize that they are responsible and take that responsibility. Take on that responsibility. Be the better version of yourself. Every day, wake up and try to, ask yourself, like, what can I do to make this life better? What can I do to improve myself and to think higher and to think deeper and to think broader and try to see the whole picture instead of just like, the picture that's been fed into our minds of like how things should be. And, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to really, understand that. And, because here's the other thing. When you take on this responsibility and you're talking about things like this, you're going to get ridiculed. You're going to face, a lot of scrutiny. And there will be people that will get in your face and make you feel really bad about what you're saying. And you have to fight through that. You have to realize, like, hey, this is that these people I don't really believe that they mean this, but I think that, what you're saying or what I'm saying to them is, it's going against their comfort and they don't want to hear it. And, people have the right to not want to listen. I don't just like go and start barking at somebody, but if someone, opens the door, I'm coming in, and going to definitely demonstrate the things that I think are so important that need to be understood.
And this is my take from it. The bottom line is we might say we're the most comfortable generation of all, but we're not the happiest one, man.
Right.
And you can see that everywhere. You don't need scientific data. If you do, it's there, but you can see it everywhere. And I think that is the fundamental part that I take from our conversation is, if you are not happy, stop looking for other people to blame and try to find a way to, some way or another, build your own happiness. Stop, making other people responsible for the lack of happiness in your life, man.
Stop being a victim. Huh?
Yeah, and because I think that's key. I think somebody told me this a long time ago, man. I remember I was unhappy for something, and he said, look, everybody has a V on their chest. Most of them think they're victims, but we're really volunteers. And that really stuck to me, man. That really stuck deep because it's true. And when I hear you speak, it's about you finding what works for you. You're not saying this is the absolute, 100% true for everyone. This is what works for you. And for us, it's a blessing to have another person open up and say, look, man, this is the way I see it. This is what's worked. This hasn't worked. And we will understand what works. And if we give it a try or not, it's up to us. And I think that's what this is all about. You said it earlier. It's about opening up, man. And I think our humanity cannot continue the way it is. And if we take this virus as something real, then I guess nature is telling us we gotta make some serious changes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That was very well said, and it's so true. Like this is we're having our own unique personal experience, right? But I also like to say it's happening simultaneously with everyone else's experience. Yeah. See, it's a whole. There's no separations. I've always seen, like, anytime there's separation, there's fear there. And so whenever I hear myself say, like, this is the divide and has to be this way, or it's like we're not having our own unique experiences. It's just one whole thing. It's like, it's about understanding that they're both happening simultaneously. And And I like to look at us as fragments of the whole, right? It's like the universe is having an experience through each one of us as, some kind of, like testing out everything that could happen, every possibility. And so it's, we are definitely a collective consciousness, but we have our own consciousness as well, right? And so that's why I like what Buddha says is like, he says, the more awake you are, so does the rest of the world awake, right? So it's about like understanding that, you are going to, it's like what Bruce Lipton gets into. It's about like, when you change your biology, the biology around you changes, and and the energy of other people changes around you, and so you are powerful, and you do have that power to be a leader and be inspiring to others to want to do something similar, and obviously that can. I do my best to never come off preachy in that way, but because it is easy to become that. But I think that's it's just important to do as Gandhi said: be the change that you wish to see in the world. You don't need to really say much; just be that leader. Be that own individual leader.
Yeah, man. Well, Nate, it's not fair because we have very little time. 1 hour. It's for all the topics that we could have discussed and talked. Like there's so many things that we could have talked and that we missed. Right. At the end of the day, our message is just to start. Continue being positive and leave the fear to the side. And overall, if everybody wants to do their own individual homework, they got to do it their own. It's not for them to believe us 100%. We just want to throw information out there and inspire people. And thank you for helping us to transmit that message, man. It's been a blessing talking with you, and
Thank you for giving me this opportunity because honestly, I've only been interviewed like just one other time, long time ago, and I am making my own podcast. So it's I'm really grateful to be able to come on here and express what I know and how I feel about things, and it's really cool that you guys gave me this platform to do so. And I think what you guys are doing is incredible, and this is what's going to help humanity become more conscious of what's really happening and what they can do to create positive change that's going to make a manifested reality that we can all harmonize with. So I thank you guys deeply.
Thank you so much, Nate. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time and your knowledge and your experiences, man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.